Hey everybody, I bet you haven't seen this before. There's a first for everything. This valve cover, it's like glued on. It's the cover over the cover actually, not the valve cover. And there was no way this foam was coming off. So what we've got to do now, the cover over the cover, we've just had to lift off. What I think's happened is, see all this yellow stuff? I don't know if that's the glue or probably is, but see all the rusty color stuff around the sides? It's probably the glue got old, but what happens is sometimes some cleaning things people have used, see, that's just wet and it's kind of like glued it on. So we just got to peel our hands around slowly around the outside edges. Just thought I'd do a quick video in case that happens to you. It is unusual, definitely, but we just got to work our way around slowly, carefully. Try not to rip it, but if you rip it, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a bit of insulation, and when you put it back together, you chuck it back inside the cover that goes over the cover, and bada bing, bada boom, it's just how it was before. Happy days, no big deal. Anyway, I thought I'd just show you the cover now that the foam's come off. See the foam? It's all kind of like stuck to it, and we're just going to have a bit of a, well, I wonder why that might have happened. Sometimes what happens washing engines down, degreaser, different products, stuff like that. Bit goopy, isn't it? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what inside the engine's like. Nothing to worry about, you get that. Don't have a panic yet, it's all good. But yeah, sometimes what happens washing the engine down, certain degreaser products, obviously the wetness and the fluid can get down around the, you know, there's a hole around the injectors, the injector solenoid there, right? So it sort of soaks into the foam. And so that's why it's important not to use too much degreaser, not to use the wrong product. Don't make it too strong. Don't use too much around that area. You don't need to put heaps on that cover because that cover's not that dirty. It's more, you probably want to put heaps down here for this and scrub it with a brush. Okay, and make sure you rinse it off really well because I believe degreaser product sort of, you can see that sort of stain, see that line there, right? That's what it looks like to me, I would say. And see how it's wet, and you would have given it a clean up. We know he gave it a clean up, and that's good. But was it from this clean up or a previous one? I don't know the answer to that question, but just be careful with your degreaser, and there you go, you just learnt something. So that's why you subscribe, turn the bell on so you don't miss the next, I can't even speak, the next important message with information about your vehicle. And it doesn't matter if it's a Prado or not. I mean, you know, other engines have covers over the cover, and this information could be generally relevant and get you thinking about avoiding situations like this, because just a bit of a pain in the butt really, and it doesn't really matter. It's not going to come off again for another 8 or 10 years, something like that, because all the valve clearances we know will be good. The injectors, the job's done right the first time, so good for another 10 years. Ballpark numbers talking there, yeah? Full DLC injectors, all depends how many Ks you do. And if you got bad luck with contamination or stuff like that, you know, if you didn't get your injector kit from me, who knows what you're going to get? So you could be going back in there again soon, you know? You know how it works. Watch all the videos, get yourself educated, and you won't buy injectors anywhere else if you knew what I knew. Anyway, let's see what else we can find on this one. Since it's happened a few times lately, I'll remind you again, don't lean on these, okay? It's plastic, it will break. It's not weak, it's not brittle, but if you lean on that, it's plastic, it will break. Okay, so you put your hand here, there's steel here. If you want to put your hand somewhere like that, you can, I'll put all my weight on there, you won't have a problem. I want to get in here and have a look. We've got the EJ elbow off and see the manifold. Although right there, at that area there, right, I agree right there. Oh yeah, it looks pretty bad. Look at all that, you know, you can see all that, but you can see it's all sort of caked. See all those chunks, they're sitting at the back there. That's all cleanable. But if you look that way, so you can see the shape of the manifold still. It's actually, I think the camera makes it look worse than it is, but basically, you know, there's cleaner manifolds and there's cleaner manifolds. In my opinion, this is going to be another one of those ones. I've got to get in there and have more of a look, but like the usual, it's not usually worth doing unless you're doing it yourself, because it's only your own time and you might just want that experience and that peace of mind. Some people like it done. It's up to you. You get to make the final decision. We'll do it if you want, but it's kind of annoying because we don't like to wait. I'm into value for money. I'm not into waste. Even if it's you giving me your money, I don't want it unless it's for a, you know, fair reason. You know, if you want to make a contribution and say, hey mate, here's a 6-pack, 4-pack of kombucha, that's probably about all you need to do if you want to give me something for free. But I don't really want to clean your manifold if it doesn't need it, because it's going to cost you $1,000 ballpark, you know, with coolant and gaskets and all the work, depending how clean you want it and how bad it is and all that sort of thing. And it's going to give you zero difference in performance. It's just not needed. So we've done it enough times where we've gone, you know, just you know, it didn't need it. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. We could have saved money. We've even had times where we didn't do it, and then we've gone back in there again another time going, oh yeah, let's give it a clean. It just makes no difference. So you really need to consider that. So what we do now is we clean all that out of the way. We scrape and vac all that out of the way. And then we'll get in there, and once that's out of the way, we can have a bit more of a look and see what it looks like down the ports. As long as the ports are clear and there's no more than, you know, a mil or two of build up, which is going to slowly clean itself anyway once you've got a solution. You know, this one's already got a solution in place, you know, the 7 mil thing. So that's going to, it's only new though. So it's going to start cleaning itself up, because of course you'll have the oil from the old 300,000K engine coming through the intake with minimal of that other stuff, that bad soot that may or may not be abrasive. Apparently it's not abrasive, and all these valve clearances we keep seeing, you know, with catch can. Look, we had one of the last ones we did, it was really dry in here. There wasn't much of a build-up. It was like it had a catch can, but there was no catch can. Maybe he'd removed it, I don't know. But there wasn't a build-up, and it was really dry, powdery looking. So the oil wasn't there to stick it for whatever reason. Go figure. It was just weird. But the valve clearance was between 0.15 and 0.18 on that one. So it could be just a coincidence, but that's the pattern we see. If you want, doesn't bother me. I'll just let you know what the experiences are, and I certainly don't use them and don't have a problem in doing so. Keeps everything nice and reliable, not popping seals out and other problems. All right, so we've just checked the valve clearances, and if this engine, we still believe it's the original injectors, never been pulled apart before, so it's lucky that the seats weren't leaking. I would recommend you don't push it that far, but why? Look, we've just checked all the valve clearances, they're all okay, like normal. So since they're always okay, why would you risk opening your fuel system or letting someone else risk contamination by opening the fuel system, taking the fuel pipes off? The risk of contamination is just too high, and you'll be paying someone money to do that. Save your money, don't take the risk, and just put your money towards the injector replacement. We know that's got to happen, and then check your valve clearances while you're at it, because they'll be fine. So here's the parts as they came out of the vehicle. It's a May 2012 150 Prado, and this is, funnily enough, these injectors were made in April 2012. Is that amazing or what, you know? Like, because they can be up to 3 years older than the car. So this happened in 2012, they must have been under the pump. Bang, you know, build the injectors, build the engine, build the car, get it in there and get it out the door. Pretty much is how it went. Now, I just wanted to show you now the seats. Let's have a look at the seats. I mean, it must have done some highway Ks and sat around and done some highway Ks rather than stop-start. Warm-up cycles is your enemy, right? So these are a bit dirty, you can't see too much, but look, they're not leaking. They just got a bit of the normal oil. The only oil that's come down is just, you know, because we pulled them out and the oil runs down, that's normal. So no seats or O-rings leaking. So that's kind of lucky, so just be aware of that. You won't always be that lucky. The EGR system, as always, you look in at this end. It's off the car now, it's on the bench, but I just want to show you at the other end, usually that's where it looks worse. You can see the build up, and that's what it looks like into the start of the manifold. But after that, not too bad at all. Quite often, this is the worst of it. Check out the EGR information playlist if you want to know more about the EGR, and the injector information playlist if you want to know more about the injectors. We're just working on this vehicle. We've got a few little jobs now. We just want to check the fuses, mate. If you don't mind, just carefully remove that fuse cover.
What's going on
here? What's the matter? You can't get the cover off?
Who put that there?
Mate, look, people. Look, I don't know if you did this yourself or someone else did it, but when you fit accessories, can you please make it see someone's put that relay over that side there? I can't get the fuse cover off. Now I've got to get tools out, and we probably won't get it back on, to remove that, and then to put it back again later. Oh, we just got lucky this time. Come on, mate. Find somewhere else to put it, please. All right, so we're going to wrap the video up on this vehicle. A little bit more information, something I just thought of. We're just also completing the BFE job on this one. And what I noticed was, and I didn't get a chance to show you while it was off, but on the, look, what happens under these hoses on the radiator, it's all white on the, you know, the black from the heat. So that's what they look like when they start to deteriorate. Okay, now we haven't had this happen, so don't everyone just go, oh, we'll change the radiator. I mean, you can do what you want, but I'm not telling you to do this yet. I'm saying we're going to keep an eye on it, and we need feedback on it. So in our group, hashtag 1kd-ftv crew on Facebook, or our injectors and engine group, because it's to do with the engine, probably the 1kd-ftv crew group would be the best one, or even Prado crew. Some feedback on radiators. Look, I know for sure the V6s obviously run a bit hotter and they do get brittle and they snap off, and it's the cause of failed engines on V6s, but It hasn't happened to my knowledge to any of them that I know of on any of the diesels. But what happens is, as you know, people knock that and break that. On the bottom of this, there was a little piece missing. It was like, I don't know if it was chipped or eroded away, but it's something that we need to be careful of, just how you can break it. I don't believe that, you know, this is going to break anytime soon on its own, or the radiator hose, but it's something I'm going to start keeping an eye out on, particularly on the 300,000k cars, the cars from up in the northern parts of Australia, the hotter climates, that sort of thing, because there is a chance that without being knocked, something could break and then you could lose coolant. So it's always a good reason to have like the scan gauge or something similar in the car where you can read the coolant temperature as well. Something to think about anyway. But I'm going to be monitoring the radiators to see if we think they're getting brittle. Not just discolored, which is what I've seen here, but if they're getting brittle. So if you've got any feedback, I might share this video eventually when it comes out in the 1kd, hashtag 1kd forever crew as the group, and ask, hey, has anybody had any, you know, what does yours look like? Maybe you can even take some photos. If you're doing a BFE job and you see this video, you could come back to that post later or even put a comment on this video on YouTube and just let us know, you know, is it just discolored? Does it still feel pretty strong? I mean, don't break it off, particularly this one. If that breaks, that's the one where you're going to lose a lot of coolant much more quickly. Anyway, people, whatever you want to do, subscribe, turn that bell on, hit the like button. Either way, I'll catch you on the next video because it's going to pop up anyway. See ya.